What is the worst movie you have ever seen? Scarface. I was obsessed with gangster mob movies when I was a teenager and I loved Al Pacino, so I figured I'd be into it, and it was crazy popular. Trash. The acting and the dialogue were so bad, and not just didn't age well bad, I'm still mad about it well over 20 years after I watched it. I remember all those rappers on MTV Cribs showing it off, acting like it was the holy grail of movies, so dumb. Ed Langlears is a close second. Came back from a dinner date to find my teen daughter and her BFF watching something called The Human Centipede, or something like that. I saw one scene, and I was left without words. This is why the aliens don't make contact with us. What in the actual F? I don't know what is more disturbing, someone making something like this, or the fact that my kid wanted to watch something brainless like this. I tried to watch Plan 9 from Outer Space thinking I'd enjoy it ironically. Nope. Couldn't make it 10 minutes in. Harry Medved and Michael Medved dubbed it the worst film ever made in their book The Golden Turkey Awards. 8 Wood and his film were posthumously given 2 Golden Turkey Awards for Worst Director Ever and Worst Film Ever. Skinamarink. It was meant to be a horror movie, but I watched 10 minutes of it and thought this is a really long intro WTF, so I googled the movie and found out it was like this the entire runtime. The entire movie is just stupid footage of kids running around a dark house with a shitty camera. So glad I didn't pay for it and didn't waste 2 hours of my life watching that absolute trash. If you're reading this, Mario Brothers live action was bad in a sense of not being faithful to the Mario franchise and concept, but as a separate standalone movie about 2 plumbers who visit a secret society of advanced turtle people, it's an absolute goldmine of cringe and comedy emo. The movie wasn't that bad, and you can't say that it is until you've actually watched it through. This is probably not the worst I've ever seen, but I watched Snowpiercer not knowing anything about it, and I really hated every minute of it, and I was wondering how they got A-list actors to be in it because it was so stupid and dull. Then I looked it up to read all the bad reviews about it, and I was shocked I tell you, that most of the reviews were positive. This is probably not the worst I've ever seen, but I watched Snowpiercer not knowing anything about it, and I really hated every minute of it, and I was wondering how they got A-list actors to be in it because it was so stupid and dull. Then I looked it up to read all the bad reviews about it, and I was shocked I tell you, that most of the reviews were positive. Anything by Neil Breen. Fateful Findings will always regretfully have a special place in my memory. A boy develops amazing mystical powers and uses them as an adult to hack government databases. So says Google as a brief synopsis. After watching it, I couldn't tell you those special powers were, or even why or how he was hacking databases. The Ginger Dead Man vs Evil Bong. That shit is so bad and so boring. It's not even like so bad it's funny, it's just bad. Most of the movie is flashbacks to the original Ginger Dead Man and Evil Bong. Literally 40 minutes of this. The Ginger Dead Man and the Bong don't even interact outside of the first interaction. I bet I know an Adam Sandler movie you can make it all the way through. Going Overboard is not only the worst Adam Sandler movie I've ever seen, it's the worst production I've seen from people actually trying. Poor script, terrible camera work, and awful audio. Battlefield Earth. I went to watch that shit in the theater, mostly cause it looked like the best one and I didn't know better at the time. My older brother even went with me. Now my brother hates me. It's been over 20 years and he still hates me. The Sound of Thunder. I've never been so close to walking out of a theater, but it ended up being so bad I couldn't look away. 6 rating on Rotten Tomatoes. It might be the lowest rated thing I've seen myself in the theater. It's so bad. A movie called The Garage. About a garage fuel pump attendant that is a loner and ends up befriending a young lad who he then goes on to show a bunch of porn he is too young to see and ends up getting arrested for it. A shower of shit. This one movie on Netflix years ago where it was just a tire rolling through the desert of like New Mexico or something. Can't quite remember, I was young, but it was literally just a movie about a tire rolling through the desert. Pearl Harbor. Never have I seen less chemistry on a screen than the first hour of that film. I legitimately was hoping it was going to end with the bombing killing all of them and it being over and I could go home. Premonition. Boring, go nowhere, do nothing movie, fell asleep in it twice, has permanently soured me on seeing any new Sandra Bullock movies. Not that I was a fan before, but Speed and Demolition Man are pretty good. Oliver Stone's The Doors. Dennis Leary summed up the best as, "I'm drunk, I'm nobody. I'm drunk, I'm famous. I'm drunk, I'm dead." Who knew Jim Morrison could be both boring and unwatchable? Clash of the Titans. One of Hollywood's last, big-budget stop-motion special effects movies. Long live CGI. Writing and acting bad. Poor Burgess Meredith got stuck in that dog. Dragon Ball Evolution. I'll add an honorable mention even though I haven't watched it, but I watched enough reviews to know it was terrible. Netflix's Death Note movie, Animaku movie, the works of Akira Kurosawa, all Star Wars, and even I can joke about not liking the others, but I won't joke about not liking RRR. Back in the day I walked out of the theater. The movie was called The Prince of Tides. Nick Nolte and I think Barbra Streisand? Fucking boring drivel. Red Sonja. In the days of Netflix sending physical discs, that was the only one I ejected before finishing it. The Conan movies were great though. Kicking it old school with Jamie Kennedy. It's full of terrible acting and jokes that already weren't funny in 2007 and are even worse today. It's close between Monstered and The Judas Project, both utterly terrible movies. The Judas Project was even released in cinemas somehow. It's a greasy strangler and it's not even close. Poor acting, poor writing, awful characters, and almost nothing resembling a plot. Mysterious Planet. It made Plan 9 from Outer Space look like Citizen Kane. Star Wars Holiday Special. Edited so bad, it's funny. The terrible quality and writing make it entertaining. Thanks Bruce Vilanch. Tree of Life. In the middle for no good reason they stuck in 20 minutes of Hubble videos to let you know the Big Bang happened. Gymkata was awful. Although the scene with the main character on the pommel horse fighting all the villagers was hilarious. Cabin in the Woods so far was alright but so corny, not sure if it was supposed to be a comedy horror movie or not. TBH, crying face. I am sure I have seen worse, but currently Moonfall is currently top in my mind just due to getting the budget it did. Llamageddon 2015. I know it was probably supposed to be that way, but Jesus Christ is it horrendously atrocious. Mazes and Monsters. Watch it, it's an early 80s anti-Dungeons and Dragons propaganda film starring Tom Hanks. 27 Dresses. So bad I fell asleep halfway through and my sister kept waking me up. Apparently I was snoring. Sleeping Face. The first in 1984. It was the first movie that caused me to walk out of the theater before it was done. Crash with Holly Hunter and James Spader. Dude wants to fuck the open leg wound of a car crash victim. WTF? After Earth. I'm a huge Will Smith fan and spend the entire time thinking WTF. His son made it even worse. Lady in the Water. It's just so bad, and M. Night Shyamalan really thought he was making something there. Probably a tie between Into the Woods? A Haunting in Venice. Both were absolutely terrible movies. Slender Man. I think what made it worse is I was so excited when they announced it was being made. Insidious is the worst movie I've ever seen. I actually kept laughing at how stupid it was. Hobo with a Shotgun. I still can't believe it was a real movie and that I watched it. Joy with Jennifer Lawrence. An entire movie about a mop. I felt like I was on acid. You folks are trying too hard, try watching Out of Africa, or The English Patient. I watched Us just yesterday. I love Jordan Peele's other movies but Us is awful. Blood-Sucking Freaks aka The Incredible Torture Show and Heritage of Caligula. Meet the Spartans. I could not get to the halfway mark. It is unwatchable. Lucy. The 100 Using Your Brain Makes You a God. Just doesn't feel right. The Last Star Wars, even if it feels wrong to call it a Star Wars movie. Zardos. Sean Connery in a diaper. Must have had a mortgage payment due. Down to You with Freddie Prinze Jr. and Julia Stiles comes to mind. No Country for Old Men. Sorry but I fell asleep the whole movie. I Know Who Killed Me. I'm a big movie buff and that was terrible. Extinction starring Michael Caine, a Netflix original obviously. Any movie with TikTokers like Addison Rae or Charlie D'Amelio. The King of Fighters. What's funny is I've never heard the name of any of these lol. K-Pax and American Beauty. Kevin Spacey sucks as a lead. Maybe Ballistic X vs. Sever. Dracula vs. Frankenstein. Plan 9 from Outer Space. The gold standard of shit films. Any live-action Marvel movie. Go ahead. Downvote me. Clueless. I really don't get how people like that one. It's considered one of the classics. Named My Life.